Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So today I would like to share my McCalls dressmake with you. So I promised this in a previous video. So it's this one, 8104. I've made it in a black sateen. Now I have made this one before. So the version that I made last time was the shorter version of C. So it's this one right here. Bring it a little closer so you can see. And then this time I chose to make B, which has the added benefit of a sleeve band here. Now I do feel that the sleeve band gives it a little bit extra. So it just gives that sleeve more of a shape rather than it just being a grown on sleeve. So that's what I've done with this one, and I've also added a different colour button. Now the reason for this is I want to be able to wear this across seasons, and I think if I just did plain black buttons it can also make it look a little bit too dark. So changing the button up a bit brightens it up, I think. So you might think black and brown, not sure about that. I think it works. I think it's a shiny sort of dress, but it makes it a little bit more casual. So I'm going to show it you. I'll insert some images and I'll also explain what button I used, what the fabric is, and what I found I needed to do with this particular dress, because I do like my clothes to be a little bit more fitted. So I'll show it you now. So here is the dress. It's quite hard to see with it being black, so you'll be able to see more clearly on the images that I'm going to pop up here. Now it does gather into this sloping bodice that comes up, or rather sloping bodice, sloping skirt panel that comes up into the centre just here, and the last button does stop here, so it's round about here. Now if you find the V is a little bit too deep for you, what I've done on my other dress, because as I say I've made it before, is I popped a pop stud behind where the V overlaps here, so that it keeps it together like that, so that when you're leaning over or moving around it doesn't sort of splay open and show all your bras off. So that's what I've done. I have made this one a little bit more fitted than the other one. I did grade the seams in a little bit on both sides, and also at the back here, look, it gathers in to the back of the skirt. So you've got a central back seam and then you've got these little gathers at the centre. So with those I've made the gathers more fuller, so I've pulled on them more to bring them in, and then I tapered in the skirt part here, the centre panel, I tapered that in just so that it goes in more at the back. Now it is supposed to have a certain amount of ease to it, like a lot of clothes do, but I just like them to feel like they sit properly on me. Some people might like them looser and some people might like them more fitted like I do. So if ever I find that, if I feel like it's hanging away from me a little bit, I always feel like it doesn't feel like it fits me properly, even though in the image I do find it looks like it looks quite loose on. So it's got shape to it, but I think it is supposed to be a little bit loose around here, around the sort of waist and into the back. So yeah, that's what I've done. I've just taken it in a little bit just to give it that little bit extra. Now the buttons that I've used, I've got a loose one knocking around somewhere. Let me just show you. I found one. So here's the button. So this one is a slightly larger version than the ones I've used on there. So they're like a wood effect. They are plastic, but they're a wood effect. And on one side, I'll put my hand behind it, they look like this. So they've got that sort of ridge around. And that's the good side. That's the side you're supposed to use. But on the other side, look, they're more shiny and a deeper brown. So what I've done is I've used the darker colour, flip them over and use the reverse side on this dress. So that's what I've done with that. Now I'm not paid for this video, but I did get the fabric free from Minerva as a brand ambassador. So I've posted it on there and I've done a little write-up for them. But this is obviously my own video. This is not a paid video for that. This is just one of my own, but I'm just disclosing that that is where I got my fabric from, and I got it as a brand ambassador to do a write-up for that. So that's the button that I've used. Now the cotton sateen, it is lovely and shiny and super soft, but I do find that you do need to press it quite a lot before you wear it. And I have some more, and I found that if you wash it and then do this and then you wash it again, that gets easier over time. So I think it's when things are new, sometimes they do feel like they seem to crease more. I don't know if you've found that with certain fabrics, and then they sort of soften up as time goes on. So that's what I've found with that. But I really like it, and what I want to do is to be able to wear long sleeve tops under it in sort of rust colours or sort of mustard, and then tights and things. So I thought by adding a different colour button, it would make that all work a little better. So that's my idea behind using a different colour button. I think you could use a different colour button altogether, like a really bright fun button if you wanted, like something like a red or a purple, if you're that way inclined, because I don't think we have to keep black things all black, because sometimes we have different colour belts, don't we, and that can completely change a look. I do like this dress, and I like the construction of it. I like the way it fits here. I like how the pleats just all fall nicely, and I like the shaped front of it. Would I make it again? Yes. So this is the second time I've made this particular pattern, and I will be making it again. So you do have the option to do a sort of flounce around the bottom there, and also on the sleeve. I'm not so fond of a flounce on a sleeve, but I do like it round the bottom. So I think I'll be doing some sort of version with the flounce on the bottom, and I might just hack the sleeves and change them up entirely on my next one, but I will definitely make it again. So that's that. So something else I wanted to talk to you about is I've been thinking a lot about what colours I'm using, and then while I was thinking about this, I watched a video the other day which was along the same lines as what I was thinking about, and it was from Sally at Secret Life of a Seamstress. So if you follow her, you may have seen this video already. If not, go on over to her channel and have a look. She has some lovely content on there. And this particular video, she'd had her colours done. Now, I've never had this done, and I do know people, I do have friends who have had this done and swear by it, but I've never had it done myself. But I have looked into it and I've read a bit about it. I did have a book about it out of the library once, and I've been on different websites and have a little look. I always find that when I sort of look, I think I am choosing more or less the right colours for me, and I tend to know, like in my previous video I said about that cardigan, if something's like too pale or if it's not one of mine, I tend to know as soon as I've done it. I tend to think, yeah, this is not for me. So I think instinctively we do sort of know what suits us and what doesn't. But I think a lot of people have benefited from going and having this done. So in the video, Sally went and had her colours done. And it is interesting to see when they're being held up against a face, how they sort of brighten or change your colouring for better or worse. So I had a little look after, and it does look quite expensive. So that's not something that's in my budget, but still being interested, I went and had a look at some of the snips that I'd got saved, and also some of the websites that I'd got saved, and I printed myself off, although my ink is not working very well at the moment at all. And looking at the colours that I've got mainly in my wardrobe that suit me, the ones that I lean towards and the ones that I think are my best and my favourites, I decided that I'm either either a deep autumn or a warm autumn. And I printed it off and I cut out the pieces and stuck them on this piece of card here for myself. So this is a very budget way of doing it for me, because as I said, it's not in the budget for me at the moment to go and have that done. But I think you could have a play around with this sort of thing and sort of try and figure it out for yourself. So all of these colours here, so I sort of determined that I was sort of warm and rich, and like I say, an autumn of either deep. Now, my eyes are in the right colour scheme, so is my skin and so is my hair. So on this particular one, it's sort of a goldy blonde through to reds, and here it's sort of a goldy brown through to the deeper browns and the deeper skin tones. But all of these are colours that I do tend to go for and do feel that suit me. I'm wearing one today actually. And these sort of oranges and rusts and deep sort of plum, purple teals are ones that, the deeper teal, not the lighter teal, are ones that, yes, I think these are my colours. And then on the bottom one, they're sort of the same thing, but a couple of them are slightly paler. So I'm definitely one of these. I think there's not much in it if you look at these colours. They are pretty much the same. So I've stuck it on here for myself. And then from a previous comment when I was talking about my cardigan, somebody did suggest using a colour wheel. So I've got some of those saved. Again, my printer's not working brilliantly, so I've got some lines going through it. But I've printed off a couple of colour wheels and just stuck them on here for now. That one's got more shades on it. And that one I'm not so sure about. So I think this is probably my best one that I found. And I need to look a bit further into this because I found that there is something you can do with a triangle as well to work out sort of like if you want to work with 3 colours together. So I do need to look more into that, especially for choosing fabrics and fabrics that go together as well. So I thought I'd start myself a little sort of scrapbooky type thing to look further into using my colours better, maybe choosing a few that I don't always reach for when I'm buying fabric, and also looking at what I compare them with to get more out of my dressmaking and so on. So that's that. As I said, do go and have a look at the video. Oh, another thing that I found, I had some of these little Moda Solids, little scraps of fabric, so they're not really big enough to be holding up to your face to see it clearly, but a few of these are definitely ones that I go for, like coral and green, and the sort of yellowy greens as well, and the khakis and so on. So I don't know what I got those with. I think I sent some fabric ones from somewhere and I got those. I've already used quite a few of them in some patchworking projects and some handbag making, I think. It was much deeper than that. But that's quite nice. So I might keep those to use in the scrapbook when I make it up. So that's that. So for the rest of September, what I'm going to be trying to do insofar as using up my fabric is either making it up into something, it doesn't have to be clothes, so that could be like a tote bag or a gift, because we've got Christmas coming up there. No, I shouldn't say it quite this early, but we have. So either a gift, a tote bag, something I can use around the house. I'm also going to be making a top for my mum. So I've brought home a top and I'm going to be making a pattern off the one that she likes. So I'll share that in a future video. You might like to see how I'll do that. And if there's nothing I want to make, gift or do with it, I'm going to be moving it on. So that could be giving it to someone else who's a sewing friend, or even passing it on to the charity shop, because I do need to make a little bit of space. And I think I'm getting a little bit too hoarderish with hanging on to little bits of fabric that I'll probably never use again. I did have a big clear out last year, but as I work in sewing a lot and getting lots of scrap bits left over, it does accumulate pretty quickly. So that is my task for September. Make it up, use it up, gift it up, or move it out the house. So I'll be making more videos on that for the rest of the month. So stick with me if you'd like to see more of that. I'll show you the top I brought home today. Now, my mum does have the same sort of colouring as me, so we do tend to go for the same kind of colours. And she's got this lovely coral coloured t-shirt that she says she loves the neckline and the fit and the sleeve length of. So I've brought that home with me today, and I've showed her the fabric piece that I think she'll like, and she loved it. I showed it her on my phone. And I'm going to make her a t-shirt out of this particular piece of fabric, and I'm going to use this as a template to make a pattern, so that I'll know that it'll fit her just right and it'll have the right neckline that she likes. She did actually say it could go just a little bit higher than the one on this one, if possible, so I'll do that as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this, and I will share that with you in a future video, and that'll be one piece, nicely rehomed and made up. Well, I hope you enjoyed that today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought and if you've made this dress before. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.